everyone, it's Heather, and in this video I'm going to tell you how I have been so successful using Disney Genie Plus. Disney Genie Plus is the paid version of Fastpass, and a lot of people are still calling it Fastpass, and for all practical purposes, that's what it is. It's still Fastpass. It just works a little different, and now you have to pay for it. I talked about this at length in this video that I made when we were at Disneyland back in January. We went to Disneyland in January of 2022, had a very good visit. That was my first experience using Disney Genie Plus, was at Disneyland in 2022. Okay, and now we just took a trip here in July of 2022 to Walt Disney World, and I got to use it there too. So I've experienced using Disney Genie Plus at both Disneyland in California and Walt Disney World in Florida, and I have got this thing down. I made a mistake on my first use of it, the first day that I bought it. I guess it so shook me, I completely learned my lesson right away. And I think that the reason that people are not able to use it to the point that they feel content with spending the money on it is because they make the same mistake that I made that first time I used it at Disneyland, and they don't correct it. First, I'm going to kind of explain. So the way Fastpass worked was it was a free service that Disney offered, and you were able to reserve 3 Fast Passes per day. You had to choose your Fast Passes ahead of time, and if you were a Disney Resort guest, you could choose them 60 days ahead, and if you were a off-site guest, you could choose them 30 days ahead. That's how it used to work. You picked your 3 Fast Passes, and then you had those for certain times. After you had used all 3, you could get another one and another one as long as there were some available, which often there weren't. And if they were for things that were lame. you didn't even want, Aladdin's flying carpets. Okay, or something you didn't really need a Fast Pass for, like a show. But Disneyland had implemented another system called Max Pass. Max Pass at Disneyland, which I never had the opportunity to actually use, worked the same way Disney Genie Plus works now, if you know what you're doing. I really liked the sound of Max Pass, and I had really been excited about trying Max Pass at Disneyland, but then the pandemic happened and it closed down, and they got rid of Max Pass and Fast Pass, and they didn't bring it back. They brought back Disney Genie Plus instead. So, which everybody kind of saw coming, because Disney was one of the lone theme parks in the world that was still offering a free skip the line service. Everybody else makes you pay for it, okay? Like every other theme park in the world makes you pay for it. Universal makes you pay for it. Your local theme park run by Cedar Fair or Six Flags or whatever, they're all making you pay for the skip the line thing. So the fact that Disney was a holdout, it was kind of like the writing was on the wall. They're going to end up making us pay for it too, which that's what happened. So the way it works now is on the app, and Megan asked me, is there any way to use Disney Genie Plus if you don't have the app? I don't think so. I don't think there is, and if there is, I don't know how. Now, you don't have to have a magic band, because like at Disneyland, there are no magic bands. And how it worked at Disneyland was you scanned your phone, and they even have a different reader where you would tap your Mickey to Mickey with the magic bands at Walt Disney World. At Disneyland, that thing has a little slot in the bottom, and you stick your phone in there and it scans it. And I did see people at Walt Disney World who had cards. They didn't have a magic band, they just had a ticket card, and they used that. So you could still use the app, but not have a magic band, and that's fine. But I don't know if you can use Disney Genie Plus if you don't have the app. So for example, if you don't have a smartphone, I don't know if you can use it. Back when they were on the Fastpass system, they had little Fastpass stations periodically throughout the parks where you could go up to it. And I mean, when you go way back at Disneyland, they had both places. They had paper Fast Passes where you had to go to the station, you put your ticket card in, and then it spit out a physical paper Fast Pass thing for you. Well, they got rid of those. But they still had like digital Fastpass stations where if you didn't have a smartphone, Because, you know, the fact that everybody has a smartphone now, or almost everybody, is a relatively recent phenomenon. You know, even 5 years ago, not everybody had a smartphone. And so they still had these little stations where you could go up to a little kiosk and choose your fast passes or change them or whatever. And they had like cast members there to help you. But those are gone. Those aren't in the parks anymore at all. They've completely vanished. So if you don't have the app and you don't have a smartphone, I really don't know if you can use Disney Genie Plus. If anybody knows if there's a way, will you let me know in the comments below? The way that Disney Genie, and I'm not just going to talk about the way it works now, because Disney World was originally doing it a little differently than Disneyland, in that you could buy it for your whole visit ahead of time. Well, they got rid of that. Okay, so now the way it works at both places is you can buy it on the day of your visit to that park. Now they're using the park reservation system at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. So they know what park you're going to. So they know, like, okay, you're going to Magic Kingdom today, or you're going to Disney California Adventure today. You can still park hop, and you can still use it with park hopping, but you can't park hop until later in the day. So that's like, you know, you can still use it. And we did at Disneyland. We park hopped from park to park, and we were able to get Disney Genie Plus lightning lanes for both parks. So that's not a worry. You buy it that day. Now at Walt Disney World, if you're a resort guest staying in a Disney World Resort hotel, you can buy it as early as midnight. There's no advantage to buying it as early as midnight. They're not going to sell out of them. I don't think there's a maximum number. Maybe there is, I don't know, but I don't think they've hit it ever, of number of guests who can have Disney Genie Plus on a given day. There is a maximum number of lightning lanes on a given day, but there is not a maximum number of people who I think can just have Disney Genie Plus. They will advise you that if it's an exceptionally busy day, you might not get your money's worth out of it if all the lightning lanes are gone. All right, so you can buy it that day. You can make your first lightning lane reservation, which lightning lane it's Fastpass. I don't care what anybody says. Your first skip the line at 7 a.m. at Walt Disney World. At Disneyland, you can't buy it and you can't make a lightning lane reservation until you have entered a park. So know that at Disneyland, you have to be in a park before you can even buy Disney Genie Plus, before you can make any lightning lane reservations. So this is a two-step process, no matter which park you're at. The first thing you have to do, and this is in the My Disney Experience app or the Disneyland app. Okay, there are separate apps for both places. Disneyland has an app, Walt Disney World has an app. You can't use them interchangeably. You also can't use the tickets interchangeably, folks, okay? We saw some people that got pulled out of line at Disneyland because they had mistakenly bought tickets for Walt Disney World. Okay, you can't do that. They're not interchangeable. They are two completely different resorts. First thing you have to do is go into that place's app and find where you buy Disney Genie Plus. Now, I made a whole big thing about why I don't use the free version of Disney Genie. I'm not even going to touch on that here. That's up to you if you want to use the free Disney Genie where it makes recommendations to you throughout the day. You do you. I don't use it. I know what I want to do. I don't need that thing telling me, making ridiculous suggestions of what I should do next. Okay, go look at this and go ride this, go eat this thing. Don't tell me what to do. Okay, so I know what I want to do. I don't use the free version of Disney Genie. Okay, but we're talking about Disney Genie Plus, which is the paid skip the line service. You don't need the free Disney Genie to get Disney Genie Plus. You can just buy Disney Genie Plus. So find the place on the app where you buy Disney Genie Plus and buy it, okay? Make sure you choose it for everybody that wants to use it, and then pay for it. It is $15 plus tax at Walt Disney World. So for the three of us, it came to like $47.92 or something, okay, for each day. Each person is $15 plus tax for each day you want to use it. At Disneyland, it is $20, but there either is no tax or that includes the tax because it's just $20. So for us to use Disney Genie Plus at Disneyland in January, it was $60 a day for each day we used it, okay? That just gets you the service. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, you have to pick your lightning lanes. And here's where everybody makes a huge mistake, including me the first time I used it. People are thinking, they still have the old Fastpass system in their head. And they think that the time doesn't matter. They just know, I want to make sure I get on this ride. Okay? Like for us at Magic Kingdom earlier this week, we knew we wanted to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad times were ahead of everything else. Lots of people want to ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Jungle Cruise was another one. Jungle Cruise was already, the lightning lane time, so the time you would get to go on the ride, was already at like 9 p.m. by like noon. Okay, so it's noon. I'm looking at the lightning lane availability, and Jungle Cruise is tonight. Ooh, okay, so you see that they're going to be almost gone. All right, because they're distributing them. This is what you got to remember. They are distributing them in order by time. This is the key. You must remember with Disney Genie Plus that you must get your lightning lanes in order chronologically. You don't want to be picking a lightning lane that's 4 hours from now, because that means you can't get another lightning lane for 2 to 4 hours from now. You can't get anything in between there. This is how it works. I'll give you an example of what I did when we went to Animal Kingdom. I'm going to come back to the individual lightning lane attractions because that's separate. I booked Navi River Journey for, I don't know, I think it was like 10 a.m. I knew that's about when we were going to be getting into the park and stuff. I booked that for 10 a.m. At 7 a.m. Okay? The park wasn't even open yet. 7 a.m. was when I could book my first one. Now, I can't book another one until one of two things happens. I have either tapped into that ride with my Magic Band or my key card. Okay, boing, boing, ding, ding. Okay, I've either tapped in, she's on this ride. Now it clears it. Now I can book another one. Do you know when I'm booking my next lightning lane? The second I tap my Magic Band. I tap my Magic Band, and as I'm walking through the queue, I'm booking the next one. That's what we did at Disneyland. That's what we did at Walt Disney World, and that's how we get so many of them. We look for the next time. Okay, it's 10 a.m. I'm walking through the queue. I tapped in. Oh, here's one for 10:10. Got it. Next ride. Go ride that one at 10:10. Ding, ding. Tapped in. Next one. Ooh, 10:25. Got it. Next ride. I do that all day long. I get every ride. Every ride that we wanted to go on had a lightning lane option, and we got on every single ride that lightning lane is offered at Walt Disney World that we went to. All of them. And we literally went ride in order. And not only was I able to do that, but I was able to, I don't know how I did. It freaked me out. I was able to get them in geographically logical order as well. Both at Animal Kingdom and at Magic Kingdom. I was thinking about it so carefully. I was like, okay, we're here. And I know the parks really well. Like, I don't need a map or anything. So I'm like, okay, we're here. Okay. Next I went, okay, yep. I'll give you an example. My first lightning lane of the day at Magic Kingdom was Peter Pan's Flight. As soon as I tapped into Peter Pan's Flight, while I was still in the, getting on my boat, getting on my flying thing, I had already picked up a lightning lane for It's a Small World. For immediately after we got off Peter Pan, it's literally across the pathway. So we rode Peter Pan, we get off Peter Pan, we walk over to It's a Small World, we got on It's a Small World. While I was in line for It's a Small World, after I tapped in, I picked up one for Pooh, which is just down the thing. Walk to Pooh, get on that. That's how I was doing it all day long. That's how it works if you know what you're doing, okay? If you know where things are and you know that you have to put them in order by time. And so what people are doing, they're making the same mistake I did that first time I did it at Disneyland. Because I was thinking about the old Fastpass system, which was you just want to get the ride that you want. Okay, I got this at 5. But if you got it at 5 in the afternoon and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning right now, well, now you can't go on anything. Oh, I didn't say the second way. Sorry. You can pick up another lightning lane after you've tapped into the lightning lane you have now, or 2 hours has elapsed. So even if you aren't to, like, say you did that, say you booked one for 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's only 10. You don't have to wait until you go on that ride at 5 o'clock. You have to wait until noon because 2 hours has passed. The problem there is now you still have another lightning lane sitting out there for 5 o'clock, so you still can't pick up another one until another 2 hours has passed. So you could ride one at noon, and then you could ride one at 2, and then you could ride one at 4, and then you could go on that one you booked at 5 o'clock. You're not maximizing your use of the Disney Genie Plus if you do that. Don't do that. Even if you see, like I did, oh shoot, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is almost gone. It's already at 10 o'clock. The park's going to close and there's not going to be any left. You can still get it. Hang on. Okay? You can still get on there. Just bear with me. All right, so that's what you got to do. You've got to be thinking. You can't just see the ride. Okay, we know we all want to ride Space Mountain, so I'm going to grab Space Mountain. Okay, but you just grabbed a lightning lane that's 7 hours from now. So you just messed up your whole day between now and when you go on Space Mountain, because now you can only go on one attraction every 2 hours. 2 hours from the one you just picked up. Okay? Don't do that. That's an inefficient way to use Disney Genie Plus. Get them look at the times. Look at the times, not the ride. Look at the times first. Look at the time it is. It's 10:25 a.m. So then you scroll down those lightning lanes and you find one for 10:30. Oh, what's that? Do I want to go on that? Sure. Got it. And now you're going on a ride in 5 minutes. Okay? Look at the times and get them in order, the next available thing. So that's how you maximize it. We literally did not stand in a standby line except for 2 things on our recent Walt Disney World trip. Every single thing we skipped the line. Except for Rafiki's Planet Watch, which is the train out to Rafiki's Planet Watch, and the People Mover. Do you know why we had to stand in the line for a little bit for those 2? They don't have lightning lane. If it had lightning lane, we got a lightning lane and we skipped the line every single ride we rode. I got 10, 12, 14 attractions. However many there are, that's how many I got. So unless it was a ride we didn't want to go on, unless I chose not to get it. I'll give you an example. We don't like Space Mountain at Walt Disney World. We only like Space Mountain at Disneyland. We got a lightning for Space Mountain at Disneyland. I chose not to get one at Walt Disney World because we didn't want to go on it. That's the only exception to riding every lightning lane attraction there was. Otherwise, we rode every lightning lane attraction there was because we could, because I know how to do it. Don't waste lightning lanes on shows or even on continuous I don't even know if they have them for any continuous loaders. Don't waste it on Mickey's PhilharMagic. You're going to get in there anyway. I mean, it's a huge capacity theater. Or Carousel of Progress. Don't waste a lightning lane on that. Okay, I shouldn't even say that. You're not really wasting a lightning lane. It's not like you only have 3 like a Fastpass was and you're wasting it because now you used up one of your 3 on that. But as far as like the time thing, you're using a time slot, if you will. So, just don't bother. Don't bother getting lightning lanes for shows. That doesn't make any sense. You're going to be able to see the show anyway. You're never going to wait that long for a show. All the seats are good. You don't need to use a lightning lane for a show. You didn't need to use Fastpass for shows. So I don't see the point of that. Oh, wait, we did use a lightning lane for the new Finding Nemo show. And I will tell you that we did get a little bit of advantage from that. We got to go in to the theater about 15 minutes ahead of the rest of the people, which was nice because it was so hot outside. And so for that reason, then it could be worth it. And also, we got to be in a reserved section closer to the stage. So, if that's important to you, then yeah, go ahead and get a lightning lane for a show. We did use it for that one show. But in general, you don't need it. to get into shows. You're still going to be able to see the shows if you're there when they start. The big mistake that I think people make is they see a ride they want and they just grab it without thinking of the consequence of grabbing that at the time they got it. But if you make that mistake, here's the solution. Cancel it. You can cancel a lightning lane after you make it. I did that several times because I had gotten one. Like, I did it with Expedition Everest a few times for Megan. Megan wanted to ride Expedition Everest, but then I realized, oh, no, we still got too much of a time gap in here. And so you can go on Expedition Everest. And until she could tap into Expedition Everest, I couldn't book something for the three of us to do next because she still had to tap into that. And so I'm like, I'm going to cancel it. Let's go on this first because this is sooner. Let's do this first. You need to do it in order chronologically. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you book your lightning lanes in order chronologically, you can, I have done it, go on every single lightning lane attraction with a lightning lane. I have done it at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom. It is possible. Don't listen to Disney. They're like, oh, you're lucky if you'll get 4. You should expect to get 4. You can get way more than 4. Okay, if you know what you're doing, if you do it like I'm saying, you do it in chronological order by time, you can get them all. And that brings me back to my disappearing lightning lanes for Big Thunder Mountain. What did I just say you can do? You can cancel it. If you don't like that time you got and you want to do something else sooner and you cancel it, or you decide you're going to go eat and you can't make that one so you cancel it, people cancel them all the time. And when people cancel them, you can pick it up. So, all the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad lightning lanes did disappear. They were all gone by the time we ate dinner on our Magic Kingdom day. But I just kept checking. Same thing for dining reservations. Do not give up. Just keep checking. Refresh, 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 refresh. There it is. Got it. I have never, well, except for Avatar Flight of Passage back when it was on the old Fastpass system. That's the only time I've ever not been able to get on something that I wanted to get on. If I want to get on it, I just keep checking. I almost guarantee you'll be able to pick it up if you keep checking. Keep checking. Somebody will cancel, or, and I'm not sure about this, but I think I have a theory that they open more up. Maybe. I'm not sure about that, and I'm sure Disney wouldn't confirm it, but dining, keep checking. People cancel all the time. There's thousands upon thousands of people in these parks. They're not all going to do the thing. Somebody had to go to the bathroom. They decided to go home and take a nap. They decided they want to go to the pool. Whatever. There's 1,000 reasons why somebody might cancel. Just keep checking because you'll probably get it if you are persistent enough. That is one thing I have learned with going to the Disney parks. Persistence is key. Actually, anything with travel. Keep checking. There's probably a way, or you probably can do it if you keep trying. So that's my big advice to you on that. Let me talk about the individual lightning lanes. The individual lightning lanes are the really big ticket attractions that are not offered within the regular Disney Genie Plus service. You have to pay an extra additional charge for those. You can do just those. If it's a light park day and you don't mind waiting in the standby lines because maybe the waits are only 15 minutes or whatever, and you're like, that's fine. You don't want to pay for Disney Genie Plus, but there's still some rides that you can only ride as an individual lightning lane. Right now, Guardians of the Galaxy. There's no standby line for Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. You cannot go stand in a line and wait for it. You can't. That's not an option. You can get a boarding pass like they've been offering for a while now for Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where you get a time, but those are very competitive and those do run out, okay? And then they may not get to your boarding time. Or you can buy it as an individual lightning lane. The price for an individual lightning lane varies based on demand. So the price for something will be between, I don't know what the low is. I think the low is $7 maybe, 7 to 20. The max is 20. We paid $20 each for Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland. We paid $10 each to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Magic Kingdom this time. We knew we wanted to go on the ride. And so I do buy the individual lightning lanes because they're usually rides I definitely want to go on. And I am not in a physical condition anymore where I can deal with rope drop. The combination of having to hurry to get there because of my ankle I can't do, and also I'm not comfortable getting to the parks at rope drop right now because of the crowds and everybody pushed together and the fact that most people aren't wearing masks anymore. I just don't feel that that's safe from a virus safety perspective. So I get around that by buying the individual lightning lanes. It's worth it for us. And I talked about this in one of my Disneyland videos too, where it's proved to be very worth it for us to get Disney Genie Plus because not having to stand in the line is huge for me. Standing is the most painful thing I can do because of my ankle. On this trip, we never waited more than 2-3 minutes, or we walked right on every single thing we went on. And that brings me to one other thing I wanted to say, which is that one thing I think that's right about this that Disney must have anticipated is I do think that cost factor of having to pay for Disney Genie Plus, I do think it is working in keeping those lightning lane lines short. Whereas with the free Fastpass system in the past, I do think there were some times where the Fastpass line was actually longer than the standby line. So many people had Fastpass that it had actually kind of flipped the lines around. That in essence, you ended up waiting longer in the Fastpass line than you would have waited in the standby line. And sometimes it even was better to just get in the standby line because you'd be waiting less time because there were so many people in the Fastpass line because it was free. But that is not the case with Disney Genie Plus. If you buy Disney Genie Plus and you get in the lightning lane line, so far as from what I've seen at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World, those lines are very short. It really is a skip the line. And so it's definitely working to deter people from a cost perspective. There seem to be enough people that don't want to pay that extra money or don't realize it's an option, that it's enough of a deterrent that it really does prove to be a benefit to those of us who do use it. Those of us who are willing to pay are getting a nice benefit because we really are genuinely skipping the lines. And I have broken it down because of how many attractions I have successfully been able to get on using Disney Genie Plus, because it really does work the way Max Pass was designed to work at Disneyland before the parks closed. I worked it out that I'm paying maybe $1 something an attraction. I think that's pretty good. So that's not bad at all. I'm paying $1 to $1.50 per attraction for each of us. So I don't think that's bad at all. I think that's a pretty good value for my money. So there you go. That is how I maximize our use of Disney Genie Plus at the parks. We have been exceedingly successful using Disney Genie Plus. Like, it freaks me out how well I've been able to use it. But you have to think about it. You can't just go in and blindly picking a thing and then just wander around waiting hours, going and standing in standby lines and getting all tired and hot. You have to think about it with deliberate effort. You have to think about it and you have to look at the times. That is the key. You need to look at the times and get the things in chronological order. And don't freak out and get discouraged if that ride you really wanted to go on, if all of them run out. Because if you are persistent and keep checking, you're probably going to be able to pick it up if you try. And all else fails, you could still stand in the standby line if you want to go on it. I mean, it might be a long wait, but Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom the other day, by the time we ate dinner, or like right after dinner, so it was like 5-6 o'clock maybe, all the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad lightning lanes were gone. So you'd think, oh shoot, we're not going to get on it, and the park doesn't close for 5 hours. But we still went on more rides. We still hadn't done all the lightning lanes at that point. No, we went on Haunted Mansion right after that, because right before dinner I'd picked up a Haunted Mansion for like $5 something. And then we went on Pirates right after that. And the whole time, as I'm doing the thing I described to you earlier, where I tap in and now I find the next one, and I tap in and then now I find the next one, I was still doing that until we had exhausted them, all of the attractions we wanted to go on. And then the entire time I was also continually refreshing and checking Big Thunder Mountain. So what happened was I had exhausted all of the lightning lanes that we wanted to ride by the time a Big Thunder Mountain time did come up and I was able to grab it. Now, our Big Thunder Mountain time was for 10:30. So it was the last thing we did at the end of the night before the park closed, but that was fine. And we did have a little gap there between when we ran out of rides to ride and when we could go on Big Thunder Mountain, but it was only like an hour or so. So we just sat and got something to drink and we watched the fireworks. Yeah, that's what we did. So, you know, don't worry too much about it. One other thing I got to say though, this is very important to remember. You can only use a lightning lane for each attraction once a day. Same for the individual lightning lane attractions. If you've used it, you can't get another one. Okay, so there's no repeats. If you can go on that ride again, but you got to wait in the standby line. So I already used my lightning lane for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin today. I can't get another lightning lane, skip the line for Buzz Lightyear today. I can go on Buzz Lightyear again as many times as I want to, but I have to wait in the standby line. So just remember that you can only get one a day. But like by getting one a day on every single attraction, lightning lane attraction in the park, that filled our day. I would have liked to go on a couple of rides a second time, but it's not the end of the world if I don't get to. I really do hope this was helpful to you. I really do hope you understand what I'm saying. If you have any questions or you don't understand what I'm talking about, please leave those in the comments below and I will answer those for you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day, everyone, and safe travels.